So here we are at Macna 2018 Las Vegas. And if there's one person in the whole world that's had the biggest impact on fish nutrition, I would suggest it's Pablo from New Life Spectrum. So I've got him here and we just want to take a minute to understand the direction of fish food in the world and understand some of the new products and new focuses that fish nutrition really has. Pablo.
Okay, first of all, our newest product right now is basically a probiotic, and I could say this is the only true probiotic in the world because we have basically using a cold extrusion process to process the food so that the bacteria will remain viable. And if you notice right here, we have 3 million live probiotic. A lot of companies sometimes would say probiotic, but usually during the extruding process, they basically kill them because of the high temperature. So in other words, most of the probiotic will not survive beyond 60 degrees Celsius. We were able to re-extruding our food using a chiller method. And what we do is that basically we were able to extrude at about 45 degrees Celsius and dry it on the air dry system where there's no oven, there's no heat involved. And so we're the only one that would say 3 million plus live probiotic.
So I would really suggest that New Life Spectrum is the most groundbreaking food this industry has ever seen. I've been in this industry since about 1994, and in 1994, the amount of success that we had with our fish really was very limited to what it is today. Now, we're a big believer that 50% of fish keeping is about water quality and 50% of fish keeping is about nutrition. So nutrition is really something that you need to focus half your attention on. People focus so much attention to their water quality and then really just don't do the research to work out what is the best nutrition for your fish. Now in 1994 when I started in the industry, there was so many species of fish that we literally could not keep. Now even back in those days, I was able to produce or run aquariums with very high water quality and I couldn't keep these fish. Now, New Life Spectrum became available on the Australian market, and what that did to us as an industry was actually amazing because all of a sudden our fish were getting the nutrition that they needed and they deserved. And I found more and more that once I got the fish onto this particular food, I was able to personally keep all these species of fish that I absolutely did not believe could be kept healthily in an aquarium. And back in those days, Spectrum was basically one jar, one formula, and for me, it absolutely worked with all species of fish. Now, since then, the industry has evolved a lot, and so has the Spectrum food. So Spectrum food now has all these different formulas that focus on all of these different nutritional needs of a fish. But one thing I do want to say very clearly is that even with all these new formulas, to this day, I still get the same success feeding any formula to any fish. So while I've got Pablo available, I just wanted to get a minute to get him to explain to you how come I can feed your herbivore fish food to my predators and I get great results, and I can feed your carnivore foods to my herbivores and I get great results. You can absolutely see it in the quality of the fish that I keep.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is really true because a lot of times the herbivore fish actually also consume a lot of copepod in the ocean and things like that. And a lot, it's not, all fish basically are in my opinion, all omnivore, okay? So any fish actually would do the job. However, we do develop the algae max, which contain 9 variety of algae. And would this be better than the regular food for the herbivore? My answer is yes, okay? But would the other food also do the job? For the herbivore, I would also say yes, but it's just basically also a lot of people who has the herbivore type of fish, they simply cannot be convinced that would be the case, and therefore why not give them what they wanted at the same time, get the same result or a little bit better result, okay, things like that. For instance, like the food, basically what we manufacture basically is using the highest ingredient, and so to speak, very digestible. When I started to make this food, my thinking would be like a space station. Okay, yeah.
What year?
That was 1994 when I tried out, because I published a book and therefore I had to go to the trade show. And I know a lot of food are basically fairly mediocre and things like that. Why not give it a try and things like that? So at that time I said, one of the biggest problem for the fish food industry is everybody try to think about, okay, they want to simulate the natural environment. So when they try to manufacture the herbal food, a lot of times they don't have enough nutrients for the fish to live on, because in the wild the fish eat maybe 12 hours a day. Okay, so basically what's happening is that we cannot duplicate that kind of environment, put it in a very small type of aquarium. You got to be able to give them the food that has enough nutrients, all the vitamins, all the trace element, all the muscle building type of amino acid and everything. They all have to be in there. Just like, for instance, when I tried to manufacture the fish food, I was thinking of the space station, where your food is limited. You can't eat as much anymore. Just like an aquarium situation, you cannot eat that much anymore, and therefore every single pellet that you eat has to be able to sustain you for locomotion, for metabolic, for growth, and etc. Okay, so basically we concentrate on the food that is very high density food that could meet all the requirement of the organism. And that's a big difference between trying to just simulate the natural environment. They are not in natural environment. Therefore, as I repeat, the food has to be very nutrient dense. Now, when you use our food, you don't need to feed as much. Okay, if you feed other food, let's say 1 gram, I can assure you, feeding half a gram of my food, or New Life Spectrum, I should say, would be more nutritious than that 1 gram. In that respect, really, when you come to pricing, it's actually cheaper. Even though outwardly it might be more expensive, but in the long run, actually it's cheaper. It's less pollution and things like that. And our probiotics actually do that, by the way. The bacteria, the probiotic bacteria, after they ingest in the food, not only the intake of the food is more effectively absorbed, and also when they defecate, there's also be able to consume the sludge and make the water even cleaner, so to speak. Yeah.